Holy, 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 hallelujah. Holy Jesus, praise Jesus, hallelujah.
We are
Oh,
Diana.
hi. It's just making some notes.
No worries. I just
Not a whole lot of journal.
okay, well, I sent over to you the just a little update on the chart.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
So I sent it to your
We'll
email.
pull that up and look at it later. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. So the past couple of days I've been focusing on not smoking. I have a nicotine patch on, and instead of smoking 30 cigarettes a day, I think I smoked yesterday about 8 and the day before about 5. So
Wow.
that's moving along, but I've discovered today, I don't know if it's because I allowed myself to have 5 and then 8, and now today I want more. That's generally how it works for me. Each day it builds.
Mhm,
Or if
mhm.
it's because we're having session, but like I had one already.
I
Usually.
can't imagine it would be due to so
Yeah, so um yeah, I talked to Michelle yesterday. She told me the little issue she had the night before. Sorry I wasn't available. I just
oh,
had my
but sure.
ringer off and
I don't know what I'm here for, but
yeah, I was like, I don't know, Anyway, so but yeah, when she picked up the phone, she just sounded like dog meat. It was we talked for about an hour. Within about a half hour, she started sounding normal again, and I thought, good, I'm glad they cheered you up a little bit. So we just talked about stuff, you know, my stepson and just various different things. I think she just needed a human contact.
okay.
So
That's
that was good. But we'll probably talk again today. And I worked on my website. I told myself I want to have it done and ready by the first.
sure. You want to give me a tour of it, and if you would like to, we can
Sure,
go over
yeah.
the chart. I can go over the
I
chart for you.
I was debating putting my actual videos on there. There's like 100 now, and
I think you
you
should.
1 15-minute TED Talk takes like a half an hour to load. I mean,
Oh, well, maybe
YouTube.
have links then, or I don't know, or have the
Yeah,
link.
well, I'll show you what I did instead. I just made the page to link to the Rumble, Odyssey, and
Mm,
BitChute,
you know,
which I'd rather have it like on my site in case they go down. I'd have it there already, but it's just too time consuming. What am I doing? Okay. Here. Oops. Come on now. All righty. I'll do preview. So I figured out how to solve this problem. I had
did
to
you?
add the two together on a separate document and then snip it together. So,
I got
memory recovering healing, survivors trauma abuse, not being able to remember huge chunks of your life or an entire childhood is confusing. It's an indication of trauma. Then all of a sudden, not only do you recall sexual abuse, but there are black robes and masks. What? What is this? It can be a long and winding road to find the answers, but it doesn't have to be. I offer practical tools to recover those memories, understand and heal from the trauma, and find strength in knowing who you fully are. I invite you to begin your journey.
that's wonderful. Good.
And then, oh, where?
You may want to put, are you putting a contact box right under that?
No, well, yeah, contact me right there.
Or Wix has, they can fill it in and it'll
I
go,
know, but it's like if you use them, you're stuck with their artwork. And I
Okay,
just kind of liked it clean and simple
there
like
you go.
that. So yeah, I played around with that for quite some time and became very frustrated.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
And then, okay, so this is about, so my
Wow. That's
name,
okay.
Survivor SRA Ultra. I was amnesic to SRA and MKU until I was baptized Easter 23. Then a movie was turned on in my head, the movie of my childhood and life. But let me back up a bit. I never remember the first 11 years of my life. My two limited memories started in my 20s with just sexual abuse by my father. It afforded me the opportunity to work on myself, learn, and investigate for 30 years. The SRA emerged after my husband and I were married when I was 45, very limited memories, and I didn't know what I was looking at. When my husband baptized me in April of 23, the memories came on like a flood and haven't stopped. My first flashback and recalls of SRA were about October 23, continuous to now. I began journaling in October on my own. I went to YouTube looking around for SRA, found Lisa Meister, Teal Swan, Fiona Barnett, and many others about January, February 24. And I think I may take Teal Swan off because Melissa ran into it from a different direction, and we were looking at her website, and there are some images of her with pyramids with all-seeing eyes in it and meditation. And
Oh.
so
Mhm.
actually, now I'll just take it off right now. I can't. Anyway, so I think she's using. I have this impression that a lot of SRA survivors, while they are doing healing, get wrapped up in that, like the direction I went with what I called my spellcasters, were
Mhm.
away from Christianity and towards New Age solutions, meditation, yoga, Buddhism. And I think Teal Swan's done the same. And all you're really doing is switching into that personality. And, I don't know how deep or what they do for their healing, but I don't perceive Lisa Meister or Fiona Barnett are that way, but Teal Swan is. So anyway, I began working with my counselor, Jon Uhler, around April 24. I realized during these sessions how much of my adult life I did not remember either. I tailored John's suggestions, charts, and graphs to my experience because at the time I had 50 or so parts, and it's a lot to keep track of. I drilled down and expanded John's work. Along the way, each TED Talk, venting, form, graph, chart, or PowerPoint I've done has shaken loose more parts and quickly. And I'm probably right now at like 490. So I just put 500 plus parts in 15 months. I
Here's a
think I'll just
question for you.
leave it there because I don't want to. 500 is going to intimidate people regardless.
There you go.
I might just say
Here's
100.
here's a question for you, or a possible suggestion. Instead of I'm at 500 parts now, how would it feel to put I have found?
Oh, yeah, I like that better. Yeah,
Because I'm always thinking of what the naysayers
I
will do,
know.
right?
Yeah, I like that a lot better. So my life story is filling in. Most of my parts are co-conscious and happy. If not yet, they're on the way to it. Right now, I have all the years of my life filled in except 2 years, and those are beginning to reveal themselves. I accomplished this using the techniques I created. I have a 5 foot torso that martial artists use for practice, and I vent my rage on it 2 to 3 times a week. That tends to shake loose more parts because the ones that have released their rage can now relax, allowing others to surface and work out their rage.
That's
And,
beautiful.
and then the same. So I'm in edit, so I got to go over here now. I'll tell you, it's been a learning curve just figuring out how to do this.
Yeah,
Okay. So my history, my dad and his family were Masons and witches. My mother was a Christian. My mom was abused, drugged, and gaslighted into compliance. Both are dead now. I was conditioned and abused by my father, his family, and subsequent handlers throughout my life. My abuse began at my birth. At 3 weeks old, my father and his parents drowned me almost to death in a vat of blood in a cave at midnight in a satanic ritual giving me to Satan. Then began my journey of abuse and interaction with the supernatural, Satan and God. As a toddler, my father conditioned me. As a young child, the SRA took place at my dad's parents' farm. Because my father had been in the military and MKU trained, the MKU and sexual abuse took place by him in our home basement, unlimited access. As I got older, I was tested for IQ aptitude, etc. He then brought in a CIA handler for further programming and training. I was sent to a training camp that progressed me into being trained, abused to be a sex slave, perform snuff on stage, be raped on film, to be a killer for snuff films, and also to be a courier spy assassin. Sounds like a movie, but it's the truth. And I think that's what people will think when they read it. Wow. So as a child and preteen, I was trafficked to three mob clubs in Milwaukee, homes of wealthy people in Milwaukee, Chicago theaters to perform snuff films on stage, more snuff on stage in Canada for the Queen, trafficked to Camp David with Nixon, to the White House in Finland with Gerald Ford, the Mission Inn in California, Camp Pendleton in California with John C. Lilly, and then MKU by John C. Lilly to completely submerge all of my abuse. Because once it was discovered my mother was divorcing my dad, they would have limited access to me and had to repress the political sex trafficking and violence they had done for all those years. Their cash cow was not going to be available anymore. My mom divorced my dad when I was 11. We moved to Iowa near her parents. Throughout my teen years, my CIA handler kept track of me. He arranged for handlers and more SRA by the locals. He updated my MKU programming there in different locations at different times. I was steered into the Army because of his handling of me in certain events. My sisters had been my handlers from a very early age, and by 18 years old, they trafficked me to people at two different concerts, which I still have to flesh that out. At 18, I joined the Army thinking I was escaping. However, I was SRA abused by the military officers there in Germany, made to be a courier and to kill for them in rituals, then an SRA ritual at Himmler's castle where I was a sex slave and killer again. They sent me to my next post, the very same place my father was stationed decades earlier, Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. There was an underground base there where I was MKU'd and also raped by chimeras. Quite shocking to remember, thank God for Nathan Reynolds. After then, I went home to Milwaukee. I got into the New Age to include crystals and Reiki healing, arts, and various other things.
Diana, just a thought about chimeras.
Sure.
You want to reference maybe in parentheses a gain of function,
Um,
a result of gain of function or something, because experiments that have been going on for years secretly, something like that. Again, I don't want, you to include
yeah,
my,
no, I know, because it seems a result of gain of
right? But all of a
function
sudden, if you're, because
technology.
now the term, because of Fauci, gain of function, it's like, oh, okay.
How does that sound? Raped by chimeras, a result of gain of function technology and decades of experiments. Actually, then I probably wouldn't need this here. Um,
How about a gain of function, let's say gain of function technology and decades of experiments.
Experimental research.
Yep. Carried on by the military that is now information of which is just now coming to light or something. I don't know. How do you want to, or I'm sorry, information on which?
Information. Oops. Oh, okay, yeah, that's great. That makes
Or
it
is it
more
information about which? I think it's maybe about. Sorry about
information.
that.
Okay. Oh, that's way better. Thank you. A result of gain of function technology and decades of experimental research carried on by the military, information about which is now coming to light. Okay, good. After that, I went home to Milwaukee. I got into the New Age to include crystals and Reiki healing and various other things. There, my boss slash handler MKU'd me for astral projection to manipulate and blackmail people. She also set me up for more SRA by the grandchildren of the very mob boss that owned the clubs where I was abused as a child. I should say trafficked to.
Okay, there we go.
Where is that? Uh, Nice. I don't never know if I'm spelling. It must be because the spell check.
Yeah, no, that's a funny word. I know.
Um, I left for Texas on short notice to escape it and could not get back home for a couple of years. There was a brief reprieve until the New Age handler, I should say, followed and accessed me. And I was raped by a Buddhist guru there. Throughout my life in all locations, I was accessed. At my food service and retail management jobs as a courier for about 20 years. I also was used as an assassin 4 times along the way. I moved 10 times in 10 years to escape those locations completely amnesiac, thinking all the while I was just trying somewhere different. Finally, I met my husband at 39 and it stopped. We married when I was 45 and the SRA memories began to trickle in after he baptized me at 57 years old. So here I am.
What a story, Diane. I mean,
I
literally,
know. I tried to condense it as much as possible.
wonderful job.
So
Wow.
here I am with tools to remember and heal. I'm not the same person I was a year ago. I'm stronger, more confident, with a spiritual certainty I've never had before, and excited for the future. I have 500 plus parts with all of their experience and knowledge within me, completely co-conscious. I need to fix this now. Oh, dang it. And you can't undo. Shit. I hate that. Because I want
Oh, yeah.
those pictures to all be identically the same, but I'll add it again later. Um, we want to share what has worked for me, us. Actually, I think, okay.
Actually, you know the little undo button, Diane, if you
Yeah.
go to the top right,
Oh, are you
there you go.
kidding?
Now over to the left now. Sorry.
Oh
There you go. There you
man,
go.
that's
As a
awesome.
matter of fact, you can do it now. Yeah,
I
just keep.
am. Yeah, only close that.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, I had no idea. I didn't
You
even
can
think
tell.
to look at
You can
that
tell I've
button.
used that a few times.
I guess so, yeah. Well, now I'll be using it a lot more myself. Okay, so let me do this first. Because I like having this little picture right over the let's
Yeah,
begin.
that's nice.
Okay.
There you
Yay, thank you for that. I would have had
go.
to delete it, reload it, put it on there. Okay, so that's that page. And then I did do the what is D.I.D. MPD, but I cut out a lot of crap. It's basically the same. Well, I'll read it to you. DID, previously known as MPD, is a psychological. It did say complex psychological condition. I just put caused by many things. These include severe trauma during early childhood, usually extreme repetitive physical, sexual, emotional abuse. It's also known as split personality disorder. With DID, you have separate identities. It's a form of dissociation, a mental process that produces a lack of connection in your thoughts, memories, feelings, actions, or sense of identity. The dissociative aspect is thought to be a coping mechanism. You literally shut off or disassociate yourself from a situation or experience that's too violent, traumatic, or painful to assimilate with your conscious self. When you have DID, you have two or more separate identities called altered parts. They control your behavior at various times. Each alter part has its own personality history, traits, likes, and dislikes. Disassociation happens when there has been persistent neglect or emotional abuse, overt physical and or sexual abuse, and I added this, and satanic ritual abuse. Traumas linked include blah, blah, blah. Symptoms, two or more distinct identities. that have power over your behavior. There's also the inability to recall key personal information that's too far reaching to be explained as mere forgetfulness. DID also includes highly distinct memory variations, which may fluctuate. And I have experienced that. Not everyone with DID experiences it the same way. For some, their alters have their own age, sex, or race, plus their own postures, gestures, and distinct ways of talking. Sometimes the parts are imaginary people, sometimes they're animals. As each part or personality reveals itself and controls your behavior and thoughts, it's called switching. Switching can take seconds, minutes, or days. Other symptoms of DID can include blah, blah, blah. Some people with DID have tendency towards self-prosecution, self-sabotage, and even violence, both self-inflicted and outwardly directed. If you have DID, you may find yourself doing things you wouldn't normally do, such as speeding, reckless driving, or stealing money from your employer or friend. If you could think of something else to put here, because I just copied and pasted this from somewhere else, but you feel compelled to do these things.
There you go.
Some people with DID describe feeling like a passenger in their body rather than a driver. In other words, they believe they have no choice. Some of the main ways it changes the way you experience living: detached, world's not real, amnesia, microamnesia, sense of confusion about who you are, sexual orientation, distortion. Sorry, I'm zipping through this.
As a
It's
matter of
now
fact, if you want to bring, I did a fairly comprehensive. I just kind of did it quickly, but I think it's pretty comprehensive. A
on
symptom,
DID or
I'm sorry, of the psychiatric disorders that somebody will be.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That's actually they have this here.
okay, well, you know what? Do you want to
I'll
bring
take
up?
your list and replace it.
There
Yeah.
you go. Do you want to bring it up for a moment? That's in your email,
Oh, yeah. I'm
just
sorry.
so you can. The
I
one I
totally
just
forgot.
sent,
Let me get that.
because I then can also you'll see kind of
Oh,
it's
I
a little.
don't have it yet.
Oh, it should be in. You have a couple of which one did I send it to?
Oh, well, let me check the other one. I can just switch over.
I think I sent it to. Yeah, I forget which one.
WarLynDi.
That may be the one.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, awesome. Let me download it so I can save it.
And- okay, so you can see what I'm just kind of I'm expanding. Just it's not neat and clean yet, but
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Where did I put this journal? Arts. Or no, shoot, I put it with. Come on now. I kind of moved some stuff around the other day. Okay, so let's open this bad boy up. Opening. Whoa, wow. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
okay,
that's
so
lots.
there's a pretty good comprehensive list of the different diagnoses that you can cut and paste. And then I tried to that box under those three will probably pertain to those three. And then,
This is the Christianity part, right? And
yeah,
then this would be oh, domestic abuse. Okay, beautiful. Yeah. I need to find a way to reorganize this so it's not so crunched together.
yeah,
Maybe a page or two prior to the actual chart itself. Yeah. All
yeah.
right. Awesome.
Those would be more or less symptoms. And so there's the, that's a pretty good list, I think.
Okay, good. So where am I? Wix. Let me just stick that right here, right now. And then yeah, I'll fix the size of that later. But where were we? Some way it changes the way you live. I think we kind of zipped through that confusion of who you are. Sexual orientation. It's now acknowledged that disassociated states aren't fully mature personalities, but they represent a disjointed sense of identity. Um, host personalities, usually unaware of your other personalities. They serve diverse roles, help the individual cope with life's dilemmas, environmental triggers or life events cause a sudden shift. And then other conditions.
Here's a thought, Diana. The other conditions, you could maybe also something along the lines of um, that can be misdiagnosed. So other,
Okay.
um,
May have been
I'd say
misdiagnosed.
misdiagnosed.
Okay, perfect. Oh, I
Okay,
like that too. Yeah,
there you go.
perfect. And they put, I think, right here, extreme, and I thought I'm going to take that out of there. I guess maybe they are extreme, but okay. Come on now. So let's just make this at 20. And maybe we'll just center that. I'll have to put your little, yeah, whatever. I'll adjust all that
I
later.
tried to indent some of them.
Yeah, yeah. So takeaways was previously known as MPD, sometimes called split personality, severe form of dissociation, lack of connection. The aspect is thought to be a coping mechanism. When you have DIT, you have two. So I don't even know if this is necessary to put in there, the takeaways, because it's already discussed above. So I
Hmm,
might just take this out. But at the bottom, I put it does not have to take years and years and years to remember and heal from abuse and trauma. I have recalled and healed an entire childhood and large parts of my adult life of abuse in just 15 months. So
there you
can
go.
you.
Very
So I
nice.
know the tone is a little different because I didn't write this previous part, but I just thought it was a nice explanation. And yeah, I think I probably will take this out. It's kind of redundant.
How about something? I'm just thinking right there. Okay, it does not have to take years. Maybe adding here's kind of a. I'll just throw this out. It doesn't have
Sure.
to take years and years to remember abuse from trauma. With
Should I put the abuse? Oh, to heal from
no,
abuse.
I love that. I'm just
Okay.
thinking maybe add for yourself. Um, I can let's see. It doesn't have to with the right dedication and tools.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Healing is possible, comma, as I can attest to it personally. Something like that. Because I
Yeah.
think that's
Oh,
where your
yeah, I'll
strength
leave it
is,
there
right?
and
You
maybe I'll
dedicate.
tweak it a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
but
dedication is the key there.
okay, there we go.
Well, tools as well, because I don't think people have tools, but I do.
How about healing is truly possible, or I don't know, progression to, yeah, but so that really speaks to who you are and you've earned it, right? Now you're
Yeah.
because this is a very radical thing you're putting out there, which it should be, right? Where people have been languishing for 25 years, you're coming along to say, listen, 15 months and here's and people are going to say, well, it's smoke and mirrors or you're blowing no, blowing smoke and
I'll
you're
be
not.
like, no, I'm not.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Because I'm blown away. And Michelle told me about a SRA survivor group on Facebook. It's got about, I think, 80 people in there. And so I've been starting for 2 or 3 days, just kind of going through and reading their stuff. And a lot of it's just motivational, quotes from the Bible, whatever, which is nice and lovely. But then there's some people saying, I'm having body memories and blah, blah, blah. Or no, what was it? She said, I had bruising come up just out of nowhere. I don't understand it. And I was like, yeah, that happens to me too. And so I put a response on there. I said, yeah, I've experienced bruising. It's generally comes 1 to 2 days before a memory. I said, for me, and I always couch everything in for me,
Yeah.
a bruise it's a message from a part that wants to talk to you. It's an abuse. I forget how I worded it, but I said ultimately a bruise is like a part that's drowning and a hand that's reaching up out of the water, looking for you to grab their hand and help them. I said that's what a bruise is. And she wrote back and she goes, "Wow, I really like that last line there." And I didn't respond to that, but I thought these people are just floundering in this
Yeah,
group.
100%.
They're
It's
just
very interesting.
floundering. I'm like, what the hell?
There you go, right? And that's what's so diabolical about all this stupid stuff out there because it's going to keep people stuck. Um,
Yeah.
there's a picture, you just described it. There's a painting of Jesus's hand reaching down to grab Peter as Peter was starting to sink. Wouldn't that be a beautiful double entendre?
Oh, if you, yeah,
So you can just actually Google. It's
it's a
pretty,
common thing. Okay,
I
so
want to say it's pretty famous out there.
Jesus' hand to Peter.
Yep, when Peter, is walking on the water and then he starts to sink. So it's really beautiful. It's a hand reaching down. You can see the blurred image of Jesus. So it's the vantage point of Peter under the water.
Oh, I'm gonna put that on my website too, but I'll put
What
it on that
right? A
Facebook
double
post.
entendre because just as the Lord has reached down to grab you, now you are in the process of helping
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
lift your other part. That's beautiful.
Oh, wow. That's cool. So then the next page is IFS. I thought about eliminating this entirely, but I thought, well, no, people with DID are going to look for DID stuff, and IFS people will look for IFS stuff. So I'll just put them both on here. And this is comes from I think the IFS Institute page or somebody who's qualified in it. So ever feel like there's a whole committee meeting going on inside your head? One part of you is yelling, take a risk, while the other screams, play it safe. Don't worry, you're not losing it. You're just human. Welcome to IFS, an approach that helps you make sense of all those inner voices. Developed by Dick Schwartz, sees your mind as a family of distinct parts, each with its own personality, etc. These parts might clash sometimes due to inner chaos, but IFS believes they're all trying to help in their own unique ways. And here's the kicker. At the center of it all is yourself, a calm and compassionate leader just waiting to take charge. The basics. It begins with a simple but powerful idea. Our minds are naturally made up of different parts. Think of it as a pie. They wrote on here, think of it like a pizza. And I thought, well,
Oh
that's going to
God,
trigger every single SRA person
what
on this.
idiots!
And I put
There.
pie. I
Okay, so
changed it
there you
to
go.
pie. So
Wow.
each slice you could even put cake there.
But isn't
Represents a
that
part of.
so they're clueless to SRA. They never would have put that.
Yeah, I was blown away. They put pizza. I went, really?
Wow.
And together they make up the whole pie. Some slices might be spicy. Now that's regarding the pizza. I couldn't think of another adjective. Looking at you, perfectionist part. I don't know, stringent maybe. So I don't know. It's supposed to play
Yeah.
on pie. Pies really aren't spicy. Maybe I should put tart. I'll put
Okay.
tart.
Almost, or you could, yeah, yeah, okay.
Perfectionist part, while
Or,
others are sweet. Hello,
how about rainbow sherbet or something? I don't know.
while others are sweet, the nurture. The goal of ISL is to help you appreciate each slice and enjoy a more balanced inner feast.
By the way,
I
Diana, I just sent you the link to
the
in the
picture.
same to the same email address
Okay.
to the painting.
Oh, excellent. Good.
There you go. There you go.
Multiplicity of the mind. Contrary to what you might think, having parts doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. In fact, it's perfectly normal. For instance, you might have a part that's a relentless planner, keeping you organized and on track. Another part might procrastinate because it's afraid of failure or just loves TikTok too much. These parts often have good intentions, even if their behavior seems counterproductive. ISS doesn't it to silence these parts, rather to understand them and create harmony among them. And nowhere in here does it talk about integration, which is great.
There you go. That's
What
right.
is the self? Let's talk about the superstar, the self. Think of the self as the CEO of your inner world, or better yet, the wise, kind friend who always has your back. Unlike your parts, which can be reactive or emotional, the self is calm, clear, and compassionate. It's the version of you that steps in when the chaos subsides. The self isn't bossy or judgmental, it leads with understanding and care. And that goes into the 8 C's, which I'm sure you're aware of. When your self is leading, you feel centered and capable. It's like finding the Wi-Fi password to your soul. Suddenly everything connects. I don't know if I like the Wi-Fi part, but
Oh gosh, no, that's right. Right. Or MKL.
finding the,
That's
a spiritual
no,
password, we'll
and
say that.
Diana, it's interesting us going through this because I've gone through 2 trainings
I know,
online.
that's why I'm, yeah,
And you know
figuring
what?
do the
It's
C's and all that.
but it's interesting that uh, I don't know if I'm, which is fine. You keep that, but we'll have
I'll
to,
put spiritual password to your soul,
right?
not
But
Wi-Fi.
isn't it interesting? Because I don't necessarily know. I mean, keep it up. It's absolutely fun, but it's very interesting. Now that I'm seeing it, I don't know if I agree with their assessment about the self is really the self is buried. And
Under
so,
yeah,
I mean, that's what a healed person, as you're holding out for someone. Okay, so once healing takes place, but maybe that's why Frank Anderson, it was very interesting. Somebody submitted a question to him, and I couldn't believe he, off the cuff, it came out of him, which, it doesn't negate what he's doing, but it's quite something. So somebody asked, a therapist asked a question, submitted it in Zoom, in the chat, because there were like 1,500 therapists online, and he's
yeah,
he's
yeah.
teaching right from his study or whatever. And that's when they asked him, do you need to establish a relationship with the parts or kind of a primary? And he said, well, no, why would you do that? He said, they're just a part. You want, oh, I can block, right?
Oh no. And
And
I watched a little, I'm sorry, go ahead and I'll tell you.
no, that's so again, it's great. I think it's great to reference it because it's become recognized and, insurance companies recognize, but
Yeah,
it's also good for us to be able to take their work and say, you know what,
and
as good
tweak
as they
it.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you're right. I agree with that.
Because you have something,
Well,
uh,
this is aimed towards people without trauma, I think.
yeah, without SRA and MK Ultra.
Right. But
Right?
I
They can,
thought, well, okay, if an IFS person comes here looking for something, I wouldn't mind working with them too, because maybe underneath they'll have abuse. So,
and the one thing that you'll help clarify as you're, meaning you're setting yourself apart, which is exactly what you should be doing because it's true. IFS is okay, but
yeah,
it's not sufficient. So
I
what you're
agree.
offering is a more advanced understanding
A
than what
deeper level.
IFS has.
Yeah,
Much
because
deeper.
I watched, it was not Frank Anderson, but
Dick
Dick
Schwartz.
Schwartz do a little group seminar. He was in front of about, like in a hotel room doing a little presentation, and he was taking people through this guided meditation, doing IFS. Now, bring your part in and put them in a room and visualize them there.
Which is dangerous in and of itself.
And I was like, wow, really? I was watching this going, that's not going to do shit for me. Maybe a business person who wants to
That's right.
do
It's
better
very
at business,
elementary, but
but
it
I
would show
thought
you
it's
the
not
advanced
deep at
level,
all.
and
Yeah,
it shows you the advanced level of work that is not only necessary, but what you have been doing, Diane, because that's kindergarten stuff. And
I
they're
didn't
never
think
going to
about it
help
like that.
people.
I just thought, well, that seems more like guided meditation to me, is
Yep.
what I thought.
And for SRA and MK Ultra, IFS is not going to be sufficient.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's what, so to give you the
Yeah,
confidence.
because I don't know. Because Melissa said that we were talking about this. Melissa says, well, maybe you should go get IFS certified. And she's on her computer. Oh my God, it's $5,000 for this. And I
Yeah,
said,
it's,
I don't,
I wouldn't
Melissa,
waste
I
my time.
don't want what's coming to me naturally to
That's right.
be tainted or twisted or because I know myself. I'll want to put it in their box.
Yeah.
And I
And
don't want what's happening naturally to be changed
no,
because
that's
it's
right.
working.
And the last thing you want is for people to assume, wait, as they start to read it, oh, so Diana's really just offering IFS. So I'll go to an actual therapist that does IFS. No, what you're saying
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
listen,
No.
this concept, it's really reframing of DID. IFS, it's very legitimate,
Just
but
using like
it's
putting both together,
and
kind
it's
of.
just a start. So you could even put that in somewhere that IFS is good, but it there needs to be a greater degree of understanding when it comes to
Yeah.
SRA MK Ultra because IFS.
Well,
Um,
this is what I put under it. This is
they're
where
open.
their definition stops. That I know you know the guardians and the vulnerable and the compassionate leaders, you. And I put with satanic ritual abuse and MK Ultra or any abuse, these parts are so buried and isolated in the deepest recesses of the mind that we are amnesic to them, intentionally done by the perpetrators. Otherwise, you could put them in jail, the last thing a perpetrator wants.
Perfect.
So they will
Perfect.
do anything and everything to suppress your memories. They will lie, coerce, torture, suggest, convince you that what they are or were doing is okay, is was okay, and it's not. Now that you're in a safe place and your memories are surfacing in the form of body memories, images, or dreams, it is a part or many trying to get your attention so that you can free them. They want to be free of the prisons they are locked up in. They want to release their fear, shame, guilt, etc. But mostly they want to be with you and find some peace and happiness. The thing is, it is you who finds it as well with them. And I put,
Perfect.
let's free the prisoners and you.
I love it.
So that encompasses what you were thinking, kind of?
Yeah. No,
Oh,
I
good. Okay.
it's,
Because
it's
I thought, I don't want to just put IFS there. How does that interweave with SRA? So,
maybe even the phrase somewhere in there. So kind of two things. Um, the feel of if you're concerned about, I'm just thinking about the person reading it, right? Let's say a
yeah.
survivor. If you're concerned about the legitimacy of the idea of parts, I want to refer you to the concept of ISS, new therapy model, which
Oh,
has
this.
become well recognized to the point where insurance companies are willing to pay for that modality.
Oh, okay. So if you're concerned about the legitimacy of the idea of parts, and IFS. Insurance companies now uh,
Are willing to accept that
this mode
modality.
this mode of therapy
There you go. Um, as it has
and
shown significant
I say
positive,
again
as it has shown significant positive outcomes.
as significant and
How about this? However,
oh wait, I want to put this I think underneath here. Okay. However,
um, however, when it comes to the most severe kind of trauma brought about by sadistic sexual abusers, comma,
IFS is a surface level. Well, no.
a greater degree of understanding of one's internal world is going to be necessary in order to
Yeah.
in order to heal by working with the parts.
Okay, perfect. Okay, good. So that's after their definition. Maybe I'll just do something like this.
There you go. And maybe a little transitionary statement, um, almost like taking it to the next level or so, I don't know, something like that. That doesn't.
My techniques say this. Sounds
Okay.
like
All right.
full of
No,
myself,
I'm
but
sorry. I was thinking up, but that's if you go back up just under the IFS one,
um,
right there. So right between where you have the dotted line, that's where
this way,
how about a need
a need for
you could even do but when it comes to SRA and MK Ultra,
output with
there needs to be additional understanding or something like that, additional understanding and work at a deeper level.
needs to be additional or more
I'd say
what?
additional. Okay, maybe additional. Additional understanding at work and work to help undo what was intentionally done by the perpetrators.
Okay.
How about you want to do by the perpetrators? What was intentionally done? But again,
Uh,
you do this in your words,
yeah, I'll mess with the perpetrate. Okay, yeah,
to
cool.
ensure, how about to ensure silence, to ensure silence of the parts, or to ensure the parts would remain silent, or something like that.
Ensure.
Well, the silence of the parts, dot, 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 like silence of the lambs. That's not bad. Ah, okay. But
Okay, yeah, yeah, I'll
but
tweak
I'd
it
put that in
around.
bold, Diana. I would embolden that
Okay.
for yourself. There you go, because that's where you stand out. Good there. Because you got the IFS stuff in bold, and now here.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so IFS, if you're concerned about the legitimacy, however, when it comes, okay, yeah, I'll play around with that
There
and
we go. There we go.
um come on now.
But again, these are just suggestions on my part. You certainly
No,
can.
I love them. That's why we're doing what we're doing.
How are you finding, as speaking of the parts, how are they?
They're really excited about this.
Okay, okay.
I am too.
I was going to ask, because as you say, it's been kind of quiet. So, do you
Well,
think?
the only I told Melissa, I said the only back off I have is just am I really qualified? Blah, blah, blah. Am I ready? And what about my time? If
Yeah.
am I gonna be robbing my parts of time to do the rest of my work? And she said, Diana, when it's God's work, if it comes when you're not ready, it comes when you're not ready. He
Okay.
he knows when he said you'll figure it out. And it was exactly what I needed to hear.
That's wonderful. That's
So
wonderful.
yeah, because that's what she said. She said, we're never ready for God's work, ever. You
There you
just
go.
have to do it. And I went, okay, I needed to hear that.
There you go.
So
And
yeah, I might
one,
tweak this around, maybe
yeah,
put this at the beginning or I don't know. So,
that may be a good. I really like that idea, taking that emboldened part that we just
and
came
put it
up
at
with,
the beginning.
put it at the top. Um, although you are introducing IFS, I wonder if the tab you do IFS and more or some, I don't know, some, so right off the bat, as somebody goes to that tab, you can even advanced, I don't know, they toy
More
around with that.
done. There needs to be additional understanding and work with IFS slash MPD. Anyway, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Now, to bolster your sense of confidence, um, what I
Just
would say is this, because as you
interacting with Michelle is giving me confidence.
okay, perfect. But probably the best way as an outsider, meaning me looking in, so to speak, um, what I would say is this, there is a direct equivalent to Chris and you. And so it would be like if somebody asked him to speak about self-defense
Right.
or speak about um,
Weapons.
right, or what
Yeah.
it was, what it would be like to face combat. He might deep down inside say, well, because he lived it and was in it,
Yeah.
he may not appreciate both the impact what he went through, of course, but his skill set, because once you're in it, you lose perspective, and it's
Yeah.
normal, right? So just know that you're the equivalent of him,
In this arena. Yeah.
100%,
All right, cool.
100%.
So here's the next tab, TED Talk.
And you've produced stuff because of your hard work for you and yourself. You've produced, the different checklists and stuff that they don't exist out there.
Well, and I think about that a lot is in that presentation I did about our path to healing, and that part where I get to the bio and I show the parts image all covered in plastic and whatever, and I said, he chose a new name and a new picture, and now he can think about himself differently. He might feel that and experience that, and he's still working on his issues, but this part is different. It's shifted, it's changed already simply by giving it a new image. And I thought, well, like with Michelle, we've identified her parts. And I thought, I didn't really change my pictures for months afterwards, but now I do it immediately. And I thought, well, would you want to do that with someone in Michelle's space? Just so that that part can just instantly have a different self-image, even though it's still feeling and doing that. Do you start off like I do mine now? Just the minute I recognize a part, old picture and new picture, old name and new name, instantly. Because it immediately you say, okay, I recognize you and I recognize your pain, and here's your experience, here's the image and the name, rather than saying, are you ready to change it, which is what we did at first,
Yeah, yeah.
which is respectful of the parts. But if you got a part that's digging in, it's going to say no. And I thought, well, I'm the CEO and I'm going to give you a name tag, a new name tag to come to work. And here's this lovely picture and a new name. And this is you now. Yes, I might forget the new name and address you as, plastic or whatever your name is, but I'm in a debate. Do you wait or do you just do it right away? Because I've done it both ways. Is it
Good, good
is it a
point.
progression that someone needs to go through?
I
And
think,
then,
right, I think the key will be as they're starting to discover and be okay with their anger.
yeah,
So I think it can probably be simultaneous. So I think that's as you with the TED Talks, and I think as the anger starts to surface and is being permitted and is okay, I think that's when that
That shift of
there you
identity.
go. There you go. But I think
Yeah.
the anger has to be able to come first.
Well, here's something when she and I were talking, what, 3 days ago or whatever, she was telling me about that part that was hiding between two servers. I think I told you about this, right?
Yes,
And I said, well, you're all crunched down there sitting hiding. I said, that's a great strategy. You did a really good job because you're safe. You feel safe. That's your name, safe. She's like, yeah. And I said, do you think you might want to stand up now? Are your legs
that's
tense?
perfect. That's right. So this will really be, you're going to
But
tap
that's
into your own
immediately
intuition.
changing the way they look at
There we go.
themselves.
There we go.
In the part, I said, do you want to stretch a little? It's okay to stretch. So the part stood up and started stretching.
So this is where your intuition, Diana, because this is where you then become the expert. And you, right, it's one thing for me as the coach to be, but you're going to have a degree of intuitive sense
Because I
of
just keep thinking,
what's true.
why not give them a picture immediately, a new picture? Yes, first thing is we do your actual real identity. I'm going to acknowledge you and see you and know your story and all that. But why don't we pick out a new picture for you? Would you like to think of yourself as something else? And so that way, as you're interacting with the part, like when I do that for myself, and part of it too is at the end of the night, I will always destroy their prison. I never let that wait.
That's beautiful.
They get the new name, the new picture, and their prison is destroyed, and they get a tour of the house. So they know, okay, I can choose
Okay, here's
here
what
or
just came to mind.
here.
I think the thing that will make it permanent is the anger. So they got to get in touch with their anger
Yeah,
so they can so they can be empowered enough to know that it's no longer happening.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
So right, that'll solidify the anger is going to be able, right, because it's the righteous indignation. It's putting the knapsacks back. That will
Right, right,
solidify.
right.
I'm not back there. I don't have to. I mean, this is my true new self because now I'm
Yeah, and
empowered.
each time she goes into her PowerPoint, each time she goes into her images, she's, for me, she only has old images there. So every time she pulls it up and looks at it, that's what they're going to identify with. But for me, every time I pull it up, I can see both.
There we go.
They can identify with both and say,
But I
yeah,
think
that's
that's
where I was, but this is where I want to be. This is what I aspire to be.
okay.
This is what I prefer.
And it's perfect. Look at what you have up for us to work on, right? That TED Talk. So
I know, yeah, yeah.
that's the key, I think, to making
Well, and
that.
I've been working on TED so long, so much.
I think that's it. That
It's
remember where you were.
instantaneous for me because they know based on the other 300
There we
parts
go. There we go.
already
So that's the key. So the key to making it permanent is the anger.
is
So the
getting
TED
rid of
Talk,
the anger. Yeah, because if they don't, they're
or
just gonna,
tapping into it,
yeah,
tapping.
they'll look at that picture and think, yeah, that's bullshit because I'm still too angry
They'll
to
revert
accept
back.
it.
That's right. That's
Okay,
right.
all right. So, TED Talk, simply something you can beat on. Its purpose is for your part, you in the moment of the abuse or trauma, to vent and release the rage which underlies the fear, sadness, and despair. Well, now, how did that get all screwed up? I'll have to fix that. From the situation then that caused them to split into another personality to protect you, the front personality. When that new or split personality was in their situation, they had no power, no control, not even the ability to say no, let alone push back or escape. Now that they are not in that abusive situation and are safe with you in the here and now, they can hit whatever object you choose for them to have and tell their abuser perpetrator exactly what they need to tell them, such as, how dare you? Stop hurting me. What gives you the right? Die and go to hell.
Beautiful.
showing him you can use a pillow, your bed, or all these things.
Beautiful.
The part within you gets to express now what they could not then. In that process, the part within you and you together with them begin to understand where the shame and guilt and responsibility really lie. And in hitting the object are taking it off your shoulders and giving it back to the perpetrator where it rightly belongs. This process frees up space within the mind, heart, and spirit to understand the lies that were told to them, the pain that they compartmentalized, etc., and begin to ultimately realize what the truth really is. That you,
Diana, so this answers the question that we were pondering. So this is the
okay,
key to it. The anger, then it allows it to be anchored in reality, so that
yeah,
so she can get up and she doesn't have to be couched in the corner anymore.
right, yeah. So that the truth really is that you were innocent,
There
that
you
the perpetrators was a twisted criminal doing anything and everything they could to suppress your memories in order to keep themselves out of jail. They did anything and everything to lie, convince, coerce, and suggest you into believing what they were doing was okay, and it is not. The term TED Talk came from the torso you see above, designed for martial artists to practice on. Its name is Century Bob Punching Bag. As you can see, it's not a bag. Regardless, when I got one, I was going to call it Bob, but my husband said that he worked with too many Bobs and to find another name.
That's great.
After calling it the torso for weeks, one day Ted just came out of my mouth. Neither of us knew a Ted, so Ted it became. It was then that I told my counselor about it, and he said, "Well, that's a new type of TED Talk now, isn't it?" But the name stuck. All of these items are available on Amazon. Just be sure if you get an actual punching bag that it hangs secure on the bottoms too, so it does not swing around. And I was going to try to put the links, but they're massively long. I don't understand it. So I just thought,
But
okay,
well, you
if
can
someone's,
actually, you can highlight, you can make that a link.
that's what I was trying to do, but the link was just massively huge.
It still should be able to insert it. So if you highlight the word,
The word,
I'm sorry, in the Wix, but yeah, bring up whatever.
oops, Century Bob. Okay, so here he is. Now, usually I would copy this line right here.
Okay, well, do that. So, oh, no, first, I'm sorry, go back to Wix, leave that up right there. So go back to Wix now. Okay, now highlight just the term or the word you want right there. Okay,
Okay.
now go over to the drop down box, over to the link page under the size of the
Here.
font. No, I'm sorry, far right to the drop down box under
Oh,
the
okay.
under no, I'm sorry, under the size of the font right next to the color. Right now, okay,
Oh,
now
I
do
didn't even know
that.
what that was.
Okay, click
Okay.
on that. Okay, now go to
Amazon.
there you go, and cut and paste the whole thing.
This?
No, whatever that link was up
Oh,
there.
up here.
There you
Okay.
go.
Oh, look at this. Okay, go
You
back to
just copy. Now
here.
go back, and so in the box right now you can cut. Now you can paste it.
Oh, I had no idea how you do that. Okay, done.
I don't know if it took.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're gonna. There you go.
And then where do you how do you keep that?
No, was that?
Oh, I want it to be in the TED Talks. Which page?
Okay, so do web. I'm sorry, web address. There you go. Sorry about that. Left,
Oh,
right there.
okay.
Web
All right.
address. There you go. There you go.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. So,
And if you want, highlight that. You can, click and or just highlight the whole thing, and then choose a blue color because they
you
used to
want it to,
auto-populate in
yeah, you
blue.
want it to stand out somehow. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
There you
All
go.
right.
Now,
Yay.
now test that out. Test that out.
Well, I
Save your
got to
work.
do a preview. Okay. So, oh, there you go.
There you go.
Awesome.
There you
So I
go.
got to do that with the rest.
Make
Okay.
sure you're saving. Make sure you save your work there. If
Yeah,
or maybe
yeah,
it automatically did.
yeah. Believe
Okay.
it or not, this thing saves instantly, like every minute. So
Okay, that's good.
it's
Good.
nice. Yeah, so save. Excellent. I had no idea how to do that. Okay. I said some people even use a stick and hit the ground, and I should put in there, or
And by the way, that's how,
you
if you have a specific, like your TED Talk on how to do it or your video, you can just do same thing. Direct them to those videos just by
Yeah, I
highlighting.
will. I did it very differently, and you'll see that in a minute. I said, so some people have used a stick and hit the ground, or you can take a towel and twist it with your hands. I must say there is something to be said about being face to face with Ted that allows you to truly let loose and face your fears in safety. Your parts get to reclaim their God-given sovereignty as a dignified individual, an expression of God, which is expressed within you and through you into the world. Does that make sense? Your parts get to
Perfect.
reclaim their God-given sovereignty and an expression of God, which is expressed within you and through you into the world. I
Banana, you
made
know what? My coffee is working. Let me run to the
yeah,
restroom.
go. Yeah.
You're excellent, excellent work. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I'm so excited about this link business. I had
Oh,
no
good, good,
idea.
good.
Um, so I said yeah, your parts get to reclaim their God-given sovereignty as a dignified individual and an expression of God, which is expressed within you and through you out into the world, which is now. My parts have found peace and happiness by venting their rage at the injustice and oppression the parts experienced and have now let go of.
There you go. Good, good, good.
Okay, so back to editor. So that I'll fix all this then, and then the last page. I guess I don't. Well, well then that might. Okay, I think I will put all my videos up then, rather than just having this plain old page saying, "Go here." And then the charts and graphs was the last page. Um,
Oh,
do you
you
want
know
to read
what? I
through
would
this?
definitely add.
Do you have
Uh,
time today or no? You, you
yeah. What
guys.
time? What's my next? Okay.
Well, no, we'll go through this because the journals aren't that huge of a deal, and we could add them to next time. Because
Okay.
I want to get this. I'm preferring this feedback. So,
Okay.
okay.
The one I would definitely do is the one that you sent to me. What's the title of
Our
it?
path to healing.
I would definitely add that one, Diana. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was thinking of redoing it just to kind of tighten it up a little bit, but
Okay.
I
But this
thought
would be
I'm
this.
going to lose some of the spontaneity.
I think it's an excellent one. But
All right,
either
I'll
way,
put it up. No, that's fine because if I decide to do another one and I think it's better, I'll just change it later
there we
then.
go. But
All
again,
right,
same
so
process. Just go to the plus, go down to video, and then
plus
embed your own
video
right there.
add and
There
okay.
you go. There
All
you go.
right, so timeline emotional intensity graph. I said here you will list out the part, age, and emotional impact it had from +10 to -10. What this does is graph your life and traumas. You will see the highs and lows and in what order they came. You can see your life on a roller coaster, which most abuse survivors experience. What this does is inform you in and for your current life. For example, things are going along well, and because the parts are used to a roller coaster, suddenly you, a part, create an incident in real time that takes you from going along well and smoothly to crashing and having problems. Basically, the part thinks, when will the other shoe drop? And
Oh, you
creates
know what?
something.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for interrupting. Basically, I'll go back up. Let's see. Suddenly you create an incident, um, parentheses, self-sabotaging behavior. Now, I don't want you to put that in. I just got all excited, but that's maybe
No, that's
that's
why I'm doing this.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to do so. Oh, there we go.
Sabotaging behavior
There we go.
in real time that takes you from going along well and smoothly to crashing and having problems. Basically, the part thinks, when will the other shoe drop? And creates something so it does. This is because of their past trauma. In seeing your life graphed out, you can anticipate and prevent crashing. Each incident has an emotional impact ranging from positive to -10. The age is a horizontal axis and emotional impact is a vertical axis. So they can just see an example here. Emotional intensity. This helps you to pinpoint how intense or bad an experience was. Let's face it, they were all bad. but some more than others. Parts in different consciousness levels will display different behaviors. This helps you to identify where the part is in your consciousness and how deeply they were traumatized. In doing so, it will form you how to interact with and heal that part. Positive 1 to 10 indicates all is well, things moving along as expected. Negative 1 to 10, or even down to negative 20, not shown, will inform you on how a particular part behaves and thus how to work with that part to heal it. So I just took a section of this because otherwise you can't see the whole thing. You can't see the words. And I thought, well, okay. And for some reason it comes in here crooked. I cannot get it to go in there straight.
You know
It's
what? I'm just thinking, where you have
really
severe
annoying.
abuse, Diana,
Uh,
on this chart. Now, was this cut and paste?
yeah. Well, no, yeah, I took a
Yeah,
snip
that's right. That's right.
and made a
I'm now thinking,
file.
what I'm thinking is, for the chart, you could have severe abuse, severe and sadistic abuse, and then
Oh, in the
save
bottom
ritualistic
part.
activity for below the minus 10, minus 11 and
So
below.
that's here where I put them up. What did you call it?
Yeah,
Severe
so go
and
back up, sorry, to the what's the other borderline pardon,
wounded children support team. Oh,
right, okay. So the
repressed
next, now in between, right, the white
right
space,
here.
no, the white space that separates, I would add sadistic, severe sadistic abuse.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, there you go.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You could think of a label for here. I mean, I guess I didn't want to put this on the website and scare people off. Because if you're stuck here, your memories are just here and here, I don't know that you're going to be ready to even, if this will scare you away. So I thought, well, I'll just leave that out and people can go to a negative 10. Ooh, there's a minus 20, but it's not listed. Kind of thing.
You could even put extreme heinous abuse.
Uh,
But I really like what you wrote.
well, yeah, because
There you go. There you go.
yeah, yeah, severe, extreme.
I think as you had it down there, the minus 11 to minus 20.
Because it can happen at any of these levels. You could be
Okay.
doing
Yep. Yep.
something
Yep.
right here, and all of a sudden a demon comes up, and you're going from a 6 to a 12.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
So it just kind of permeates everything.
There we go.
So anyway, yeah, I'll change this then, and hopefully I can get it to be straight. It's just a hair crooked, and it's bothering me.
Oh, well, sure.
And it doesn't look like it. Maybe it's just me, I guess. And then I put the mind files. I don't even know if this is necessary. This helps you to see how your mind organizes your experience. Each person's is uniquely different. In seeing this, your parts realize just how many parts there are that experience the same thing they did, and how many other categories and parts there are. They only knew that they were alone suffering in their prison. Now, wow, check out all these other people. They realize they're not alone anymore and can rub elbows with the others and learn from each other and you. So, whenever I do this chart, I've been asking my parts, is this even necessary? And they're like, yeah, just because it's nice to know that, so the fear, anxiety, there's 100 of us, and the happiness, there's only this, or the torture and pain has 100, and health has six. They just something about it. I think they like to see their grouping still that, oh yeah, look at all of us that had torture and pain, and geez, look at all those soldiers and slayers, and it's like being able to look at the city as a whole,
Yeah. Yeah.
or just Oregon anyway. So I
Okay.
don't know if that might come up. Emotional levels. This tracks the emotion levels of each part and lets you know who needs to work on TED and release their rage. Over time, you will see them go from sad and despair, fearful and terror, to anger and rage. to then peaceful and happy over time.
I think you need to have four instead of two. I think
Okay, all right.
stack.
Yeah, okay, and I'll pick ones that have a little more
Okay, there we go. There we
stuff
go.
going on. Okay. And then the health checklist. This encompasses giving the part existence new life, checking on their body issues, TED work, mental or MKU issues, and spiritual issues. First, give them existence. Let them select, oh, geez, an image that represents them. Do you know their name, age, location of the abuse, and their purpose in splitting? Have you written down their experience with a journal? Sketched the things that they're showing you? Did you map them out with other parts? What is their consciousness level or emotional intensity of their experience? Upsetting, disturbing, horrifying. And so I just put these are all the things you need to do for each part. Then give them a new life. They have been in prison for years or decades all alone. Let them choose a new name and picture. They can and do start to think of themselves in a more positive light. They begin to like themselves. Plus, they are no longer in their prison and can live with the other parts and be co-conscious with you. They are no longer locked up and alone and can direct their future, one they didn't even know was possible. Their hopes and dreams begin to surface and ultimately become real. And so they'll
Excellent.
just see these categories. Oh,
Excellent.
look at that. Okay. And I need to obviously cut and paste this a little better.
Dana, this is why you've earned the right
Oh, thank
to,
you.
right, to
Then they
help.
see if they have body issues and specifically where. In knowing this, you can work out the body memories on TED, which will make them go away, and the part is no longer in pain, and neither are you. And I think I'll probably make this a little shorter, probably delete these categories here or move them somewhere else so that I can make these categories look larger or something. You know what I mean? So. Then do they have mental or MKU problems? Just checking with them and acknowledging those issues, they tend to dissipate. Or you can work them out on TED and they dissipate. Again, it's too small to read, so I've got to kind of condense it and make it bigger. The same with spiritual issues. Did this part feel abandoned or betrayed by God? Was the scripture used as a weapon against them? If so, you can correct it. Were other satanic practices taught to them, and thus you unconsciously do them now? In knowing you have the information to be able to change that, giving them peace and a connection with God slash creator that may have never been there, as well as yourself. Connection with God that may have never been there before. Oops. Does that sound smooth? May have
Yeah,
never
it's good.
been
Excellent.
there, that may have never been there before, as well as for yourself. I have developed a certainty, security, and peace about God, the creator, that I've never had before. And so again, the columns are really tiny. So I have to take this whole form and maybe create a second one and just maybe put 5 columns, etc. So because all parts were lied to, coerced, suggested into, or downright tortured into what their perpetrators wanted of them or from them, they were made to be a slave in one way or another. They need the truth in order to heal. This frees them from that slavery. In knowing these things, you get very fine details of their story. You also know how they were manipulated and lied to, and you can teach them the true information, thus healing. If you are unaware of their individual or specific issues, you can't help them at all, or yourself. This checklist pinpoints what they need and how you can help them and yourself. When they understand the truth, they can vent their rage, sadness, despair, fear, and terror, and finally reach a stage of peace and happiness. Thus, you do as well, part by part.
Excellent.
All
Excellent.
right, cool. And that's all the pages so far. Because I'm not going to have my hours or where I'm located. And I thought, you know what? If they, contact me, I will email you. We'll talk over the phone and figure out scheduling.
Look at your, this is benefit of you having put in all the time. You're a personal coach.
Okay, all right. Excellent. Okay, so that's the website. Cool. So I can work on that this next week or two. And yay, that's exciting. 11:41. I guess we could do the journals. I
Okay.
just put in all the Camp Pendleton parts. So body issues. So Victoria could smell the ocean, feel the moisture in the air. Bennett's eyes, ears, and nose and feet because he had never been on a ship this big before, and he could smell the ocean and notice how solid the boat felt. Barrett, he could see how large the waves were and smell the ocean water and had it splash on his face. He was hanging on very tightly to the raft, and his stomach was upset from all the movement. So he's come. Bennett was on the big ship, and now Barrett went onto the raft. So Brian was excited to see the dolphins and was still hanging onto the raft tightly, and his stomach was upset as well. Banks had wires connected to her head and was still hanging on tightly to the raft. Her stomach was upset, and she could feel an electrical current on the skin of her face and neck because they put something on her head. Actually, that's what I need to show you is the I don't even want to call this a map anymore. It started off as a map, but now it's my life book. That's what I call it, my life book.
I like that.
All right, so here. And John, this is 2,100 pages now. Isn't that amazing? We're
Right.
gonna do banks. So next, here she is. So here they start off. Here's, Victoria arriving at Camp Pendleton. Then, there may be stuff that happened before getting on here, but I see that, we get on the big ship and I meet the captain. Then they take us onto a raft, and still, it's a raft very close to this shape and size,
Wow.
because I still have an aversion to looking at it. And then I'm hanging over, go, oh, look at the dolphins, isn't that cute? And 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 this is I typed into Google Images, I think experimental or electronic equipment for dolphin experimentation, something like that. And this came up and it says flipper on it. So this is specifically designed. I don't know if it's to go on a dolphin or a human or what, but uh yeah. But I had something put on my head, and I think the dolphin had something put on its head. Now, I think it was wireless. Pretty sure it was wireless, even though in my journal entry it said with wires, but I think that meant like wires on the device. And then when we were done, the ship coming at us, if this will change, put this over here. Come on now.
What a
Yeah,
way to
that's where I
play with the kid.
freaked out. Huh?
What a way to play with a kid's mind. You're hooking them up to a dolphin and like that's going to do anything productive.
I know, I know. And then once we were off the ship driving back to the thing, see a woman tied up and pulled by a military jeep. I should put drive back to base.
And a question about this.
Mhm.
So nothing happens by accident. They purposely allowed you to see the woman being dragged,
I
right?
know, but not the other girl.
Now you wonder if you knew her.
I
Did
think
they
this was a girl that was not an abused girl. I think it was the excuse to to be able to have two little girls on the base going out on a ship.
but I mean, for you to be able to, for you to have to see that woman, that girl being dragged.
I think they just didn't care because they knew I had seen so many other things before. But this other girl had not. If she did, she would have ran home and told her mom.
Right. But as far as, were, uh, do you think you interacted with that woman
I
at
don't
a
know
different
yet. It's
before?
possible.
Meaning all the more impact if they had had you establish some sort of rapport with that woman, and then you are forced to watch her be dragged to her death.
Yeah, perhaps. I don't know. I mean, maybe that'll flesh out later.
Or
Because this is
somehow,
still that whole time period where it's coming piecemeal, scattered around. So,
or somehow they're going to give you the message that this is what happens if you talk or you try
yeah,
to
maybe
escape.
so. And they had her baby in the back of that, holding the baby up to the window so that she could see it. So, yeah, I honestly don't know. But now that it's in the back of my mind, my parts will mull it over and let me know. You know, if it's not there,
Yeah.
it's not there. If it is, it is. So, and then seeing her dead on the ground after, and then see the military remove the body, the convoy pulling up to that building. I couldn't find a convoy pulling up to a building. And then afterwards being in the place where the scientific equipment was being taken, that this creepy guy, and he looks really close to this, he had like a checked shirt that was reddish and green, chit-chatting with this other girl. Well, how was your dolphin experience? And wasn't it great and wonderful? And blah blah blah. And the mom came and picked up the girl. I think this is like a creepy pedophile lackey of Lily's, one of his helpers or something, and they were just chit-chatting things up. And so that's the series of parts. Um, Wires connected was still hanging in his, yeah, feel the electrical current. Boone was overwhelmed with the size of the ship coming at them. His eyes, ears, nose. There was water and waves splashing, and their fingers still hanging on tightly to the raft, stomach upset. Briella, Bryn, and Blair were just concentrating on what they were seeing, on the conversation that was going on between Lily, actually, Lily and his helper, I don't know what else to call him, and that other girl telling her, oh, no, this Lily and that other girl telling her there was a UFO to distract her. That's when we were in the Jeep. Brody just wanted his upset stomach to settle down. Now, these are two different parts. Vega and Vesper are the trauma bonded lovers of my dad and Jack. And I had forgotten to record their stuff. So basically, all the sexual organs and the related body parts, face, jaw, head, neck, knees. And then mind issues went back to this. So Brian had to concentrate for the device to work with the dolphins. He could feel mild electrical current on his face and neck where the water and waves had splashed him. And then the device was placed on there, and Brody was hungry. Brody wanted this nonsense with the girl picked out, and all the chit chat to hurry up so that they could go eat. And Francine and Austin are the chimeras, the triplets and the Borg man is concentration because they were not sure what they were seeing, and distortion because they weren't sure if their mind was drugged or not. All of the chimeras were so odd. I think I was looking at them thinking, this can't be real. I must be drugged or something. I think that's the case, but I'm asking them, but were you actually drugged? And they're like, no, but I thought I was drugged because it was just so bizarre. It was a freak show, you know? And then spiritual, all the parts, trigger words, phrases, symbols, and rules. Briella, Bryn, and Blair felt like God was not in this place either. Now, it's funny because they'll always phrase it like that. Not that they feel like God abandoned them, but God's not in this place. You know what I mean? So
It still
I
is
thought that was
indications,
interesting.
right, that a kid is going to feel like God wasn't there,
Yeah,
God
yeah.
there. to break through.
Yeah. So these, yeah, I guess so these parts would feel abandoned by God
Yeah,
because they
absolutely.
only existed in that place.
That's right. That's right.
So, okay, the
And
next
it's
one.
interesting, how Lily turns to that girl and says, "Oh, look, UFO." Again, you're on a military base. He could have said a lot of different. Oh, look at the soldiers. Look at the tank. Do you see the explosion over there?
I
But
know,
he,
no, but it was about a UFO. I know. It's
so
like,
isn't it
really?
interesting? You wonder how much time he had spent in Area 51, or
Oh,
where
right. Yeah. Or
right he's
maybe in the
going with the
70s.
ruse.
Was that a big deal in the 70s?
Right? I think it was, but
I know
since
the
the
Bigfoot phenomena started in the 70s,
okay, see,
and that could be a chimera.
I think so. So because the military is about 40 years ahead of what we all know, the anti-gravitational
Alan
crap.
used to say he thinks they're a good 1 or 200 years ahead.
Well, okay, there we go. So,
Literally. Yeah.
so there's no reason since he mentioned that and it's so bizarre. Um,
I know, it was
there's no
all, oh my
reason.
God, do you see that? It's an
Right? There's no
alien.
reason in my mind to not think that he was a part of all of that in whatever way. And so when kids thought that they got abducted by aliens, what they're really
Right?
doing,
Yeah. It's a part of the mind control bullcrap.
right, there
Here
you
was
go.
something interesting. Oh, I gotta find Vita. Dang it. Come on now. When I put in that thing to find the electrical equipment for the dolphin, this John C. Lilly's picture comes up for dolphin experimentation. And I don't know if I told you, but oh yeah, this looks exactly like my mom's husband.
You were referencing them.
Yeah, blew my mind. I
I was
thought
gonna
I
say,
captured a different image. Must have put it somewhere else. And I'm having cramps and some stabbing pains in my stomach right now. Isn't that
from
it?
having seen what from us talking about this, are you
I
seeing?
think from looking at those pictures just now, John C. Lilly. Yeah, where? Oh, here it is. This picture. The Dolphin Who Loved Me, the NASA-funded project that went wrong. And that's John C. Lilly, probably in his 30s, maybe early 40s.
What went wrong
So
about it?
he's interacting with NASA and the military, the industrial complex, and he's walking around showing me chimeras. I think he did chimera work as well. But that none of that comes up. Obviously, it doesn't come up in anybody's
And you
database.
wonder what project went wrong.
Yeah. Mm.
If that were to make the news, so somehow somebody.
But yeah, he's working with NASA, so oh look, there's a UFO there. I kept trying to think, were UFOs a thing in the 70s?
I think that's when they started to. So it
And they
also makes
started the Bigfoot thing too.
okay. So yeah, I mean, all that started during that time, and it makes me
And it's
wonder
50
if
years of it now.
there
Yeah.
you go.
And it's
Right.
all over
So
the news. The drones are UFOs and all that crap.
I mean, you don't put anything past these people. So would it make sense? I mean, to me now, it's starting to make sense. He, meaning his statement is so stupid. Right. Look, a UFO, you're on a military base. He could have come up with all sorts of things to direct her attention. Like,
Yeah,
oh, do you
but
see a
yeah,
sniper? Okay, so of all
yeah.
things, he's
What
in
he
a
said.
the context that he could have,
I don't know if a little girl would be interested in explosions and jeeps.
right? Do you see the tank over there? Do you see the sniper? But he goes, do you see the UFO? And I'm wondering because that's so
And
stupid,
there was nothing there. So she's looking,
right?
she's like, where? I don't see it. Where's it's like right there. And she's like, but I don't see it. And
So,
and so if there was an actual tank there,
right?
I
Well,
don't know, yeah.
so
I don't know. It makes sense to me.
well,
It
here's what
keeps
I'm
her
thinking.
looking up and out.
But he's never going to waste any time or never waste an opportunity. And so you're there. So I'm wondering, like, whether China Lake or Area 51, if you
Who's
had.
Yeah.
If you had been
Well, I should show you
exposed
this.
to something like that. And so now he's going to reinforce because he's referencing UFOs. If you had been forced to, if you had experienced something like that, by him saying, look at the UFO, now he's getting mileage. He's getting double
Well, and
mileage.
here's the thing is right after the Vita entry, I started to realize the timing. I had some things kind of messed up in time. China Lake comes right after trauma bonding with him. So he trauma bonds with me, takes me to China Lake. I'm like his companion. This is where I see the Borg man. I thought this was at Camp Pendleton, and the parts were no, this is at China Lake. And the triplet thing, and the morphing, and the ape lady, and the albinos, and the werewolf. Now I was getting confused. I said, well, what about Wolfman from Wisconsin? And I had to really flesh some things out. And the person like, no, that one thing was in Wisconsin, but the rest of these were in China Lake. So I'm like, okay. And now all of a sudden I'm escaping from China Lake, right? I get, done escape. They take me to
Oh, is
Oklahoma and
that where the
then
escape took place?
from China Lake,
Okay,
yeah.
because that's where they have the runways right there. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. Because I was like, well, I was trying to remember, okay, um, this guy. I'm like, well, there's water in the ocean. And right now, as I'm talking to you, I'm realizing, okay, well, there was a lake as well. So maybe this was a lake. Because I was just assuming this was the ocean. So China Lake had a lake, right?
I think it's, and part of me is thinking they used to do
And maybe they have a
torpedo
section of the lake cordoned off for these creatures or something.
because
I don't know,
I
but
know.
these are all mixed up, or they were, or maybe they still are, but these were all inside of buildings. But this one was outside, and the this guy was outside, and the this was outside. Three of them were outside that I saw walking around by the buildings, and the other three were in buildings. And it's not at Camp Pendleton. And I thought, well, that kind of makes sense because anybody could be with a ship driving by with binoculars or a scope of some sort. And you can't have these things on the ocean shore. But if you're in a lake inland, you can control who's around the lake.
And that makes sense, right? Because new recruits
So
are,
where else are you going to put chimeras and let them
yeah,
be by water? Because this guy was by water. Or I just made the assumption it was the ocean, but I think about it now and I think, no, I think this was waves from a lake, China Lake. So I'll look that up later, but I want to get through this because I know it's 12 already.
oh, dang.
I
Okay,
says,
yeah.
well, I've had a nursery rhyme going through my head. Now, this is after I did the China Lake parts with John Lilly. Mary had a little lamb for about 8 hours now. I think it's connected with John Lilly. He would play that when we were having our bonding time, kissing and hugging, and me sitting on his lap, and him giving me the special dress. I was his little lamb, and I was supposed to follow him around everywhere. So I think that's what the trauma bonding was doing was to train me to be his assistant of some sort because at that point in time he and perhaps maybe my dad didn't even know mom was going to divorce him. So that was a trajectory. And so I had to look up the lyrics. I thought, okay, Lily is Mary and I am the lamb. And then I saw a very tall woman with short brown hair sitting in a chair. After that, then I saw my friend Jonathan, who I escaped with. I saw hands on each side of his head from behind. I saw someone twist his neck until it broke and he died. It sent a surge of adrenaline through my body. So I need to put this with, well, this is not in Kentucky. This is in Wisconsin. So I need to figure out this part name. I'm so sad that he's gone. It was my fault that we got caught. I didn't cover my shoes as well as I needed to. And then I just saw myself and Jonathan hanging and climbing upside down. The phrase we were climbing under a railroad track came to mind. Then I saw another boy walking towards me. He did not have a shirt on, and he had brown, curly, fluffy hair. It was about 3 inches long. I don't know who this guy is. I'm getting the impression that perhaps we were in Kentucky a lot longer before we were caught. And now I'm not so sure about that because I think these were things they were having us do either at Pendleton or China Lake. And it says, no, the part said, oh, here it is. No, the part said that this was at China Lake. They had us running obstacle courses when we were not with Lily. No, the part is saying this had to do with the movie production stuff. So I'm not really sure where this climbing occurred. They waited until after my depth tank and slave labor robot training. They put Jonathan in a chair with a soldier behind him. They wanted to see if they could kill him without me reacting. Then they knew their conditioning had worked. So apparently, I was more important to suppress memories than to keep him alive, even though he was just as qualified in his training as I was. Why kill him? Why not just suppress his memories too? So I'm like, so I just don't know how I would be chosen and him not unless I had my mom to answer to, but he had no parents to answer to.
Well, but he had those relatives that they killed, so
Oh, right. So there's, yeah, less people to ask questions.
they've got to keep him quiet.
And then this was last night. I just saw myself completely encased in a plastic bag with my hands and ankles tied. I was trying to bite at the plastic so that I could create a hole to breathe through. This was in the basement with my dad. I found a way to pull my upper arm to my mouth so I could have something to bite against through the plastic. I managed to make a hole and was able to breathe. My hands were tied to my feet as well. It was a white trash bag. That's the part's name. As a very young girl, I was taken somewhere. Oh, and this was really weird last night. I woke up in the middle of the night. And as I think to go to the bathroom, I was laying down to go to sleep. I was taken somewhere and had to learn to march. Just like you would in the army. As I was learning how to march, the song Mary Had a Little Lamb popped into my head again. I'm thinking this is like 4 or 5 years old. So I'm wondering if John Lilly wasn't in my life earlier. Because I associated the Little Lamb song with Lily. And now it's being associated with something much younger, like 4 years younger. So I don't know. And I don't know where this comes from right here at all. I looked at it this morning, not knowing what it meant. History programs done at school sisters and done at or with John, meaning John C. Lilly. And this as well. His Superwoman, Jacobin, and Yolinda. Now I have that Jacobin part that was an MKU part. So I don't know if this is the same one or not. I'm not sure what type of training it is, but it has to do with being a soldier, a super soldier. Superwoman. Remember I said that to you? Well, then I get to be a superwoman with all these parts, right? I think that was
Yeah.
her talking. Also goes with the song Mary Had a Little Lamb. Jacobin is part of the mind file, because I was thinking that. Aren't you a mind file? Superwoman had to do marching also. And this was in a dream. Someone was saying to me, you should know exactly how many Chevys were in that parking lot and what direction they came from and left. You see, he said she should have known how many Chevys that were in the parking lot and when and where they moved. So it's almost like the spy network and how well my observation abilities were or something. I thought, well, that's interesting. I when I woke up and recorded that, I was like, why would I need to know where Chevys are in a parking lot? And then I remembered all the spy movies that I've seen and how they can just notice everything in their environment and blah, 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 blah. And I thought, well, maybe that's the spycraft stuff. I don't know. So this is all brand new um stuff. I gotta work on this today and make parts and all that, and then hopefully more details will fill in. So there's that. 12:06. You got someone waiting?
Yeah, I got somebody next, but
That's it. I'm glad we were able to do all that website work because I needed help. I was like clueless in a lot of that stuff. I was like, what's this? What's that? Where is it? I didn't even know where the undo button was. I screwed up a whole page and I thought, I'm just going to create it again. I deleted
um,
it and started over when all I
I'm
needed was the undo button.
glad I could help.
So thanks
Um,
for that. Yeah. So, all right, cool. I
Excellent
guess,
job. Well, let me pray. Let me pray for the continued guidance or your continued guidance that the Lord gives you.
yeah, thank you.
Lord, thank you. Thank you that Diana and I can still work together, and thank you for her diligence, Lord, her commitment to this process and her healing and also the healing of others. Lord, thank you for her willingness to befriend and to be able to work with Michelle. Lord, continue to be with Michelle and oversee her healing. Lord, keep her safe, protect her. And as she and Diana are working together, just be very present in their sessions so that ultimately, so that truth can surface, so that she can be set free. And Lord, we pray that she's able to see justice. So orchestrate and organize somehow, bringing to really our attention, any of us, the name of a legitimate law enforcement person so that an investigation can begin. So we pray that you let her see justice. And I thank you also for Chris, for his diligence at his job, and continue to work on him, continue to soften his heart so that he can be set free from his PTSD and so he can sense what's next as he's contemplating retirement. And continue to give Diana insight and wisdom into all this. So thanks for your commitment to us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. And Jesus, please continue to give John insight and wisdom into what he does and help him to expose and squash all of his enemies. Thank you, Father. Amen.
Amen. Well, thank you.
Hope you
Yeah,
get that work done
I'm still working on
so
that.
that you can relax finally and focus on other things. But it is what it is.
Hmm.
All right, well, I'll let you go. Have a good day. And thank you
Okay.
for the assistance because I
You're
needed
more than
it.
welcome. And
Okay,
anything comes up, email or text.
I will. Okay,
Okay.
bye.
Bye.
Lord of Lords, King of Kings, Alleluia. Glory, glory, great majesty. Alleluia.